Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pickdawgz, and this is Ron's Bank Shot Breakdown. We're going to go over 5 college basketball games for Thursday, November 20th, 2025. If you like this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Put your college basketball picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, the games I love the most, including my daily Bank Shot best bet in college hoops, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com. There's also a link in the description. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Thursday in college hoops. First up, we've got Memphis and Purdue. This one is a neutral site game in the Bahamas, 6 p.m. Eastern on CBS Sports Network, part of the Baha Mar Championship. Now, it's not been the best start to the season for Memphis. They are 1-2 right now. Opened the season with a nice win against a dangerous mid-major school in San Francisco. It's a program that's got a lot of tournament experience and some really good seasons recently. Of course, Todd Golden was the coach there, a little while ago. Ended up being with the Florida Gators and winning a national championship. So that's a very strong program. A nice win for Memphis to open the year. They then play Ole Miss on the road. They lose that game by 6 points. Really no shame in that. One of the better SEC teams, a top 40 KenPom team, a quad one matchup. You lose it only by 6. The big concern for Memphis now is their most recent game. That was against UNLV, a UNLV team that lost 2 games already to mid-major schools in UT Martin and Montana. Not great losses for the Runnin' Rebs. And then they go on and beat Memphis by 14 points at Memphis, 92-78. Not a great loss for the Tigers, but the good thing is this is a team that's built a very, very difficult non-conference schedule in order to build up that resume, because when you're a team in the AAC in the current day of in college basketball, unless you win 25-plus games in the regular season or, of course, win your conference tournament, you're not going to get an at-large bid unless you have some big-time resume-boosting quad 1, quad 2 wins in non-conference play. And Penny Hardaway is looking for those types of W's, as he's got Purdue here. He's playing Baylor, Louisville, Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, the rest of non-conference play, a mix of home and road games. So Memphis has the opportunity to build up its resume. And while I don't think they win the game outright here against the number 1 ranked team in the AP polls and a top 5 team in KenPom, I do think that Memphis is better than what we've seen. In terms of shot quality, they're forcing tough shots, not really getting the best results. Teams are shooting quite well on Memphis right now, but I don't think it's going to be the case going forward, especially at these types of rates. Teams shooting 55% from the floor, 36% from three-point range. Like I said, Memphis, it's been a great defensive program over the years. They are forcing some pretty tough shots, low percentage shots that are going in an unfortunate high percentage rate. Like I said, I think that this defense continues to improve as the season goes on. I think they bounce back from the rough showing against UNLV. On the offensive side, it's also not been the best start to the season shooting percentage-wise for Memphis, but they are creating some pretty good looks. They play at a fast pace. They're an experienced roster, 48th ranked in D1 experience. They've got some capable scorers, guys like Doug McDaniel, who's having a slow start to the year, only 20% from three-point range. We saw him struggle from the perimeter last year as well, but just a couple of years removed from being a 37% three-point shooter at Michigan. I think Memphis has got some capable scorers in a matchup like this. It's tough to go against Purdue, but because of their record and because of Memphis' slow start, we're getting a ton of value in a matchup like this at the neutral site. I'm going to take the points here of Memphis with the Tigers here. Next up, we've got Northeastern and Princeton. This one is 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. Now, going into the season, when you look at the roster on paper, I liked Princeton's chances to be better than what we saw last year and be better than their KenPom ratings going into the season at 205. But now at 251 and 2-3 on the season, I am starting to not love what I'm seeing from Princeton. And back-to-back losses. They played a pretty competitive game at Kansas, but not a competitive game at Iona. In the last one, 89-69 the final. And now only one day off in between that game and this home game against a Northeastern school that I do think is just a better team overall. I think that Northeastern could very well win both the turnover and rebounding battles. I think that Northeastern is right now the much better shooting team offensively. I think they're stronger defensively, forcing tougher shots. When I mentioned the turnover battle, I think they will win that in a big way, as Princeton has had some issues taking care of the basketball. We saw it against Iona on the road in that last game. Princeton with a turnover about 17% of their possessions, which isn't miserable in itself, but it's an Iona defense that's not really that aggressive, and I thought that it was going to be a good spot for Princeton's offense to get going a little bit in that game. Iona was just dominant really from start to finish in that one. And, it's been a good season for the Gales, so, maybe it's more of Iona's success rather than Princeton's failures. But I just can't get there with Princeton right now. I think eventually in Ivy League play, we might be able to find some value with the Tigers. But in their current form, and the fact that Northeastern is playing with revenge in this game, they lost to Princeton last year, I think it's just a bad spot for Princeton overall. So I'm going to take Northeastern in this one on the road. Next up, we've got Pittsburgh and UCF. This one is 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Now, I've noticed we've faded UCF just about every game this season, and so far the Knights are 2-3 against the number. They're 4-1 straight up, but 2-3 against the number. Failed to cover in their last game against Oakland as a big favorite. That was our bank shot best bet with the Oakland Grizzlies in that game. And honestly, UCF, we talked about how they've been excellent from three-point range, 47.7% from the perimeter, but those numbers are just not sustainable. And we saw them struggle from three in their last game. They face a tough three-point defense in this game. Pittsburgh right now 65th in three-point defense, only giving up about 30% of their points via three-point field goals to their opposition. So this is a tough matchup for UCF, in my opinion. It's a semi-home game for the Knights, but I think Pittsburgh, both of these teams have struggled in the turnover battle, both offensively and defensively. UCF's had a great start to the season on the glass, but Pittsburgh is top 150 in both offensive and defensive rebounding, one of the best defensive rebounding teams right now in the nation. And I think that Pittsburgh can go toe-to-toe with UCF from the perimeter. Pittsburgh relies on the three-point shot quite a bit as well. I think this is a kind of an even matchup, but I think Pittsburgh does a lot of the little things a lot better in a matchup like this. Certainly a better shot quality team as well. I'm going to take Pittsburgh in this game in the neutral site. Next up, we've got Tarleton and Rice. This one is 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. Kind of similar to what I just mentioned. I think that both these teams, when you look at their numbers on paper, pretty similar, but I think Tarleton does a lot of the little things better in a matchup like this. I also like the fact that Tarleton had a pretty slow start to the year when they played their tougher opponents like SMU and LSU, a couple of blowout losses, but they really built on those performances against those tough schools and put together nice wins over Corpus Christi, Merrimack, and then were really competitive against Baylor in that game on November 14th, scoring 81 points on a Baylor team that's been one of the best schools in the Big 12 the last decade plus, covering the number in that game with ease. And I think now they can pick up a nice road victory over Rice. Rice is 2-3 to start the season. One of their wins was a subdivision victory. The other one was against East Texas A&M by just 7 points at home. So I've not really been impressed with the Rice Owls to start the year. They are a very strong three-point shooting team, top 35 in the nation so far. But Tarleton's actually been okay on the defensive side against a three-point shot, only giving up about 28% of their points via three-point field goals. Really, the way to beat Tarleton is to get to the free throw line, as they are taking a lot of fouls. Not the most disciplined team. Rice is just about a average free throw shooting team, about 72% as a team, and they do a decent job of getting to the line, but not enough to where I'd love their chances. As Rice, like I said, they've been a three-point or nothing type of team this year. Great three-point shooting team, but the third worst two-point field goal percentage in the nation. I think that Rice is just a little bit too volatile for my liking. Tarleton should be able to win the turnover battle and the rebounding battle, especially on the offensive glass, where Tarleton's right now a top 50 offensive rebounding team. I like the form that Tarleton's in right now. I'm going to take the Texans in this one on the road. Next up, we've got Cal Poly and Utah. This one is 9 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be on ESPN+. Now, we have faded Utah a couple of times, and Utah is 0-5 right now against the spread. And even though they're 5-0 straight up, they're 0-5 against the spread, as they've been favored in every game, haven't covered the number, and they're favored yet again this one by a good margin. I can't get there with Utah. I think that a lot of times you see a team that's 0-5 against the number, you can find some good value betting on them, but because Utah is still winning these games outright, and a lot of these wins have been by double digits or close to double digits, they're still being, I think, mispriced. I think that Utah is still not a very good defensive team. They aren't very aggressive. They don't force many turnovers. They're giving up a lot of easy, high percentage shots to their opponents. Cal Poly is a volatile team. They play at a very fast pace. They'll turn the ball over a ton. They'll take a ton of threes, sometimes ill-advised threes, but they also score a ton of points because of that fast pace that we've seen them score in the 80s and the 90s, even the hundreds of times this year. So they are a dangerous dog when you're giving them a ton of points. And honestly, I think Cal Poly's been better this year defensively than what we saw in 2024-25. Last season, they were ranked 269th in adjusted defensive efficiency, up to 180th now so far this year. So they've definitely taken some strides. They played a tough schedule. They played at USC, Colorado State, road game at Seattle that they were able to win outright, and even most recently against Montana, which has been a very solid mid-major school. So a lot of true road games, a lot of different styles, And Cal Poly, for the most part, has been competitive, despite other than that one blowout game against USC on opening night, which since then Cal Poly I think has gotten better and better with each game, and I think they're a dangerous dog. We saw Purdue Fort Wayne cover the number for us in that last matchup against Utah. I think Cal Poly does the same. Give me the Mustangs in this one, plus the points. And that's it. Those are the games for Thursday in college basketball. Hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com, and there is a link in the description. As always, Romanelli, good luck.